you to do some really, really fundamentally good things. And to change your interactions in a generally very positive way. Like, initially it starts talking about how bosses and things like that quite often criticize their workers, but when you compliment your workers and you compliment the people that are working, really hard for you, you show appreciation and you nourish their self-worth. It tends to turn them into better people, and it makes them more energized to participate in whatever they're doing with you. And these sorts of things, he comes at it from the angle of self-interest. He appeals to your self-interest. He makes it seem like you're the one who benefits from being a nicer person to everyone else. And I guess that's a really good way to put it forward, but the tips that he's putting forward, if anyone actually needs to hear that, then it's fantastic that the book's out there. I'm glad that's such a good, a bestseller. But interestingly, for all those copies that have been sold, we still have a far way to go before people are genuinely nice to each other, I think, on average.
Huh.
Everyone just wants to feel important. Yar. Well, that's interesting, because he asked this... Ask my cunt. He asked a really interesting question, and it was like, tell me what makes you feel important, and I will tell you what kind of person you are. And he compared like different people and the things that made them feel important or made them feel good about themselves or made the actions that they felt were the most important. Holy shit! Trev, have you been sub for 13 months now? That's insane. Thanks, man. Good morning, 1HOV. Because he was like, so this guy was like, some people, the thing that's most important to them is they'll donate loads of money to a hospital in a country where they'll never meet the people who benefit from it whatsoever. And that'll be the most important thing they feel that they ever did. But for other people, it'll be things like they expect a title, or they a coat of arms for their family, or like their royalty that gets overly uppity about protocol and things like that, and they're like, you'll enter the room when I ask you to, you'll engage with conversation when I invite you to, and not a second before, and all this sort of thing. And he kind of made a comparison between, what makes those people feel important and the more charitable ones. So yeah, like he's engaging you to think about what you value in life and what impact it has and what kind of person you want to be. And I think that's really beautiful. I'm really glad there's a book out there like that that's gotten so much traction. So far I've only read 3 chapters and I'm just like, whoa, this is so cool. I'm so glad there's a book like this out there. Yeah, guys, go on, tell me, what makes you feel important? What's the most important action you do in the day? Australian rules, thanks for the 100 bits. Fuck off. What? Did I read that right? There's an old article in the thing called What Shamu Taught Me About a Happy Marriage, similar to the psychology of animal training. If you think that marriage has any relationship to animal training, I am deeply concerned. Like, especially with Shamu. Like, if Shamu and the treatment of, like, a trapped orca in SeaWorld made you think of your marriage, that says a lot about you. That's terrifying. Nothing. I am important no matter what. Good. I'm glad you think so. Dinner time with my son, sitting at the dinner with him and cooking always gives me a great feeling. That's awesome. I'm not important. Sound out. You are important. Every single human's important. Every single conscious being in the universe is important. Every time you appreciate something about life, you're doing the most amazing thing that's ever fucking happened and ever will happen. The most significant thing is that one day there was life. And since then, the universe has got to see itself and know how awesome it is. Every day that you do that, you're contributing to the most beautiful moment that ever happened. Of course you're important. All you have to do is enjoy a little bit of life. All you have to do is see something cool. All you have to do is enjoy something. And you've already done the most important thing you were ever meant to do. And that's just see the beauty in the world. Just do that. Every time you've done that, you've done something amazing. You're so fucking important. You're so rare. Showed the video of you in the car and burst out laughing. That's great. I don't mind if you laugh. What are you doing with you face details? I don't know, but are you... I have a sneaky suspicion we've got someone in chat who isn't entirely human. Or hasn't, like... What are you doing with you face details? It's like, hello, fellow human. Nice weather we're having today. It's like, what? We don't need no magma. I've been seeing a lot of that already. I don't know where that came from. Ever since I was little, I've remembered that about Pompeii, about how lewd Pompeii was. I don't know why I thought of that when I was absolutely rat-assed. Oh, sorry. I have no idea why I suddenly needed to say that or talk about it. Pompeii, great talk. Yeah, I'm really glad you liked the video. Because there was a dick spray painted on the ground. Oh, was it spray painted? I was kind of just picturing just like an errant dildo that had just escaped its owner. No, like, with your lips, is that just for entertaining, or do you have a problem? What? You know I have Tourette's syndrome, right? What's your favorite pizza? I love a lot of pizza. I really, really do. Big stretch. Sorry, I'm so sleepy. I haven't even had a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or anything. I'm not a fish. I'm not awake. I got to hug Fish for the first time yesterday. So Fish is one of like the OG mods, Fish-based. She's amazing. I've spoken to her many times. I've looked forward to this hug so many times. It was great to spend the day with her, Danny, and Brandon. We had like a little mod day. It was really beautiful, up country. And yeah, I am so sleepy now. I got home at like 11:30. I had to get up at 6 a.m. and then I had to get up at 6 a.m. to get again today. I am wrecked. What's one movie that you watch when you're feeling down that always brightens your mood? I can't really rewatch movies. I usually only watch them once. If I watch them again, it's after a few years, and I've mostly forgotten the film. I tend to but that sucks because sometimes I remember a movie as being really good from like the 90s or something, and then I look back at it and it's like, oh, this is really racist and sexist and weird and pervy. Like, what? Like, that happened to me with Friends. Like, Friends, I used to love it. And then I look back at it and now I'm like, there are jokes about things that should not be joked about in this. Like, they were on a break. I don't know, like, I used to find Joey so charming, and then when I actually watched it again, like, as an adult, I was like, whoa, what a douche. Like, he was recommending getting with a girl with low self-esteem because then she'll be more willing to do certain things in the bedroom that most girls with self-esteem wouldn't normally do. And I was thinking, whoa, that's hella shitty. And, like, it just was laughed off in the show and things like that. And it's just like, I forgot how awful this was. When you see a spider in the house, do you let it live or crush it to death? No one deserves to die for being an inconvenience. If people deserve to die for that, I'd have been killed a million times over. If someone's just trying to live, I'll let them go about their day. Spiders are tiny compared to me. I live in the UK, there are no venomous spiders here. I'm really safe. So I'm never gonna kill anyone. I'm not full of myself. I'm not egotistical. I don't think that someone being an inconvenience to me should mean a death sentence. And I also don't think that someone, who just makes me feel uncomfortable just by existing deserves any kind of aggression from me whatsoever. You know? If there's a baby in the house, if human babies were, like, if there was an epidemic of spiders killing human babies, we would not survive. I see, like, 8 spiders come in the house every day. Like, I see one run across the floor every day. Like, if I was a squishy little baby, I would not know that was a danger. I've had spiders, really huge spiders, crawl across my face when I was a baby. Like, if they were a threat in my country, we'd all be dead. We'd all be fucking dead. So no, even if I had a baby in the house, I would not go around squishing spiders. A glass over and a card under is enough to save someone without killing them. And I'd rather take the time to do that than, do something so awful. Because, like, with insects, especially, every time you're kind to them, every time they get to live because of an action you did, their children's children could be existing for thousands of years from now, loving life. There could be an insect that loves life, like 3,000 years from now, that only existed because you were kind to their ancestor. Now, you only get one chance every second that you live to do something positive before that moment is gone. And every time you do something awful, you failed. Every time you do something mean or that has a lasting, mean, bad impact, you failed. So, yeah, every chance I take, I want to have a good impact in the world. I want to be a reason why people are happy and get to live and love life. I don't want to be the reason for, any death. I don't want to be the reason for any cruelty. No, not when I can choose not to. What do you feel about wasps? Exactly the same way. They're actually really important to the ecosystem. They pollinate. We need them to have plants. We eat plants. They're just awesome animals going about their day. I really like wasps. Wasps leave me alone. They just walk across my hand, get on with their day. I think they're beautiful. And their nests are gorgeous. If you've ever seen, like, these epic wasps' nests, just Google, like, huge wasp nests. Some of them get absolutely humongous. Must be amazing to see up close. Yeah, wasps are cool. Choosing to let spiders live is a mindless choice for me. Here in Australia, our common spiders kill insects, so nature does its course. Yeah, I think it's coexisting with spiders is a really smart choice. When you're not streaming, are you thinking about streaming? Yeah, whenever I get the chance. I live a really busy life, so I have my mum to care for, my animals to care for, my mum's animals to care for. I have like just lots of other stuff going on in my life, and it's really hard to juggle. So whenever I get a moment to sit, I am thinking about the stream, and what I can do. Australian rules, thanks for the 100 bits, sweetheart. You're being really generous today. Always like to come back here, all the best. Thank you so much, Mighty Cat. That's really sweet of you. Where do you draw the line for use of where do you draw the line for defensive use of a firearm? My philosophy on that is get out. I think that you should do the least harm possible in every single circumstance. If you can choose not to cause harm, you should choose not to. I see where that line is crossed is when your life is under threat, or someone that you're responsible for, like a child or a relative or someone who's dependent on you. In these sorts of situations, if you have to choose between allowing yourself to be harmed or having to harm another person, and that's the only choice, and there's no talking your way out of it, there's no way to protect yourself in a way that doesn't, potentially kill someone, if there's no way out except to use what you have, then yeah, I guess that's your only choice, but that should be the only time, that should be the only point. And I think that's not an opinion on guns, to be honest, that's just an opinion in general about self-defense. My opinion on self-defense is it should be a last resort. Would you consider yourself a pacifist? No. I think there was a time where I would have done. So I used to protect myself a bit heavy-handedly when I went to school initially because I was very afraid. And I used to have a 3 warning system where boys used to come on to me and they used to get a bit gropey or inappropriate, and I'd go, no, you have to stop now. This is the point where you have to stop or you're going to get hurt. And then I would protect myself rather aggressively. And after that, I felt that what turned out to be the case is these boys just saw me as more capable and were more excited by me and were more interested in me after. I'd ended up having to protect myself, so it didn't really do the job and put them off. So it didn't really fix the situation, but also I kind of felt ashamed that that's what I ended up having to resort to, and I swung the other way and I ended up being really a pacifist and really being against violence. But I kind of feel like I have this middle ground now where I feel like everything is situational. Everything should be done with the interest of causing the least harm and having the most positive impact. And sometimes when you're backed into a corner, something bad has to happen. You just have to navigate the circumstances to make sure the least negative things happen. Did you have any nice friends in uni? Not many. Maybe 1 or 2. I think everyone was a bit underdeveloped, and it was, well, to be fair, When I changed over from games design to animation, that's when things got considerably better. There are a lot more nicer people in animation than in games design. Unfortunately, I did want to get into the games industry because I felt like I'd have a lot to bring to it. But I just couldn't stand the people and couldn't stand the idea of having to be around those people for years and years and years, because there was definitely a climate, you know, and I just felt like I just didn't fit in with it at all. I don't think gamers are bad people. I don't think it's gamers specifically. When you approach your situation, ask yourself, what would Captain Picard do? He does have some pretty good answers, but I think the key to doing the best possible thing in these situations is to love everyone involved. And that's a really hard thing to do, but when you love the people that are there, if you look at them from a position of love, then you want to do what's best for everyone instead of what just benefits you. It's not a dominance play, you're not overthrowing an enemy, you're not solving shit with violence. You're getting out there and you're building a better world and a better connection with the people around you. And that is so much more beneficial than just storming in and defeating an enemy. One of the things that I loved about Studio Ghibli was that there are no solid enemies, and quite often the line between enemy and friend blurs. And actually, people aren't usually defeated. Like, they aren't usually fought and torn down. Usually, in Ghibli films, what happens is the enemy is spoken to, you get to know them, and slowly everyone's motives begin to change. What about people who don't believe in love? Maybe they don't necessarily believe in violence, just don't trust easily. You don't have to trust someone to love someone. Love isn't... So, recently I came against a situation where someone did something that they shouldn't have, and it was a huge breach of trust. And I approached the situation compassionately. I should have been angry. I think a lot of people would have been angry, but I was more concerned for them and hoping that moving forward we could help build a situation where they could be a better person. And I feel like that was a much better way to deal with it compassionately, with an interest of everyone walking away better people for it and happier people for it. That's a hard thing to want when something's been done to you, but yeah, that's what I want, and I feel like that's better for me in my health because I'm not resentful and angry, because that's a painful weight to carry. But also, like, yeah, I feel like being able to see someone change for the better gives you hope to see it happen and shows you tools to help other people do that too. So you come away with a lot more when you're compassionate to the people around you. So I tried to understand what was happening. And basically tried to build a better situation from there. I think that's something I really need to hear right now. Well, I'm glad. That doesn't mean that you have to stand for any level of violence. That doesn't mean you have to suffer for the betterment of others. You don't have to feel good about interacting with the people around you who've wronged you, and you deserve respect, totally. I know that, but I also don't take joy in people being uncomfortable or unhappy because of me or because of their actions towards me. I am far more enthused by any opportunity to make the world a better place, and to learn from stuff. So that's what the direction I wanted to take that interaction. I had to sit them down and confront them about it, and that was really awkward and hard. But at no point did I ever raise my voice or shout. At no point did I ever,
Fuck.
at no point did I ever like get enraged by them or anything like that. And I'm happy. I'm happy for that. Oh, did the music stop? Oh, okay. I don't know why I'm dropping frames because nothing is happening that should cause a frame drop, weirdly.
Huh.
It can be hard to look at things objectively, let go of your ego and really have a kind of clarity to try and see things from someone else's point of view. Well, the thing is with that, I'm well practiced in it because I get tick emotions, so I can't trust every single thing that I feel. Sometimes I'm not feeling it for legit reasons, and that's fine when you just get a random dose of happiness, but not so fine when you get a random dose of anger. So whenever I get a wave of feeling that just comes out of nowhere and doesn't seem contextual, I sit beside it and really observe it from a detached perspective. I'm like, oh, my heart rate's increasing. Oh, I feel like this tingly feeling in my hands. The heat in my body has traveled to different places. This is really curious. This is really interesting. This is anger. It's changing the way I think. I keep wanting my thoughts keep diverting towards things that justify this anger, contextualize this anger. But I'm pretty sure that it's just a tick. So I'm just going to ride through the anger and observe the sensation and be curious about it. This is part of existing. It's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's something that I shouldn't really fall for. It could be construed as a trick, you know? So I had to really sit beside my anger, and that's allowed me to be much more objective in real life situations because I won't let my emotions guide me. I feel like you don't really allow for a morally grey area in your philosophy. Yeah, I don't believe in morally grey. I'm a very black and white person in that respect. And usually a lot of people would think that's a bad thing. And initially it sounds like a bad thing, to have a very black and white view of morality. But it's like, either you're trying to do good or you're not. Either that's your focus or it isn't, you know? From that perspective, do as much good as you can. It's not hard. It's not difficult at all. With those 3 rules, does it cause harm? Can you choose not to? Great, choose not to. That's a really simple set of rules. There isn't really a grey area there. Are you able to change your ideals? Everything that is the foundation of me is malleable. I take a scientist's kind of perspective on all of the things that I currently know and base my life around and my ideals around. So that is, I will run with the current amount of provable information until new evidence arises, and then I will adjust my perspective accordingly. That's how it is. I see my life and my morals as a method of discovery, not a fixed thing that I have to abide by, but rather just the result of the evidence I currently have to hand in weight of more. So yeah, of course, I've changed some ideals in the past.
Huh.
You're making me question myself, but it's good. I like the dialogue here. Well, that's cool. Can you imagine your life with Tourette's? It might surprise you to know that I don't sit around humming and ahhing and trying to picture a life that's more like yours. I'm perfectly happy with mine, and I'm not ashamed of who I am, and I don't need fixing, and there's nothing wrong with me. I do get asked constantly if I wish I could take a cure, or I wonder what my life would be like without it. I just don't. I don't waste time wishing things were different. I'm too busy working with the things that my life is right now and loving it. How good are you at voice impressions? Depends on the voice impression. Do you really have that, or are you just faking that? I have Tourette's. There isn't actually any benefit to faking Tourette's. It's actually really hard to get by. So basic things become really challenging, like accessing your money if your bank account changes, because you have to go through customer service, and they think you're abusing them because you shout and swear. So like there have been times where I've just not been able to get into my bank for a couple of weeks because I've just not known how to get through to them without getting hung up on, and the stress was making the tics worse. Things like that. And you can't get someone else to ring on your behalf. They'll only accept you. It was really frustrating. So I had lots of situations like that in the past where it's really worked against me my whole life. I've not seen a benefit whatsoever to having my condition. Even on Twitch, there isn't actually any benefit to having Tourette's on Twitch. There are plenty of people here who have Tourette's on Twitch. That is just a thing that is already here and has been long before I arrived. It doesn't really give you it doesn't give you an advantage predictably or anything like that. So no, I don't fake it. There's no reason to fake it. There's literally no benefit to faking it. Did you see someone did a cosplay of you in your Discord? What? No? What? Did someone actually do that? I want to make better life choices after listening to you. Well, that's fucking awesome. The fact of the matter is that I keep saying this on stream. I know it's repetitive, I'm going to say it again. Nothing that you buy matters. Nothing. You could buy a poster today. It's not going to make your life complete. And you're going to want another poster someday. You're going to want a different pair of shoes. You're going to want a different car. Everything you buy, you could buy again. And it's not going to make you feel fulfilled. It's not going to matter when you're about to die. You're not going to look back and go, I'm so glad I bought that fucking waifu pillow. You know, you're just not. You're not going to look back at the shit you bought. You're going to buy so much shit. It's not going to make 1 ounce of difference. The amount of money you earn, the shit you buy, your opinions, they're not going to matter. They're not going to outlive you. You're going to lie on your deathbed, and those are not going to be the things that you mull over and wonder if you did right. The things you think about are going to be the connections you made, and every connection you make through negativity, every time you put out a criticism, it's a homing pigeon. It's going to come straight back to you. Whereas every time you do something kind or loving, you build a beautiful atmosphere, you feel good about your choices. You can't waste time doing good. You can't regret being good, being kind. Because even when I've been kind to people who turned out to be unkind to me, I still walked away with a good sense of self. I didn't ever walk away feeling like they'd changed me into a bad person or manipulated me into doing bad things and feeling hate and feeling anger. I came away feeling good about who I am and knowing that I didn't deserve that. And that's so important and that's so worthwhile. And, you know, there is so much satisfaction in knowing who you are and being content with that, you know, and from there being able to make positive changes and positive connections, because you can never regret that. That's the kind of stuff you can look back and remember and love about having lived, you know. But working your ass off for money you'll only spend on shit you'll forget is a trap. There's no satisfaction in it. You'll get to 40 or 50 and wonder what the fuck you did with your life, and you'll feel boring and you'll be like, what? A lot of the time, if you just focus on money and buying things, there's so much more to life than what you buy. Can you actually feel, or are you aware of the tics? Yeah, I can feel the tics. This is a sensation that comes with the tic. It's very uncomfortable. I feel that people, most of the time girls, take advantage of my kindness. What can I do? Stop expecting shit. You don't be kind so that people do things in return. You don't be kind so that people give you a specific reaction. You can only feel taken advantage of if being kind for the sake of being kind wasn't your motivation in the first place. People can't take advantage of you if you're kind just because you love doing it. Bake some fucking cookies for someone. Did they take advantage of you by eating them? No, you loved making the cookies. You can't feel taken advantage of if you're being kind for the right reasons. You know? You can make a choice to refuse to help someone if you feel that they are asking for something unreasonable. That's fine. And maybe that's the boundary you need to set if you're suspicious of why people are asking you to do certain things. But if you're being kind to people and connecting with people, if you actually have kindness, you're not doing it for people's reaction, you're doing it for the love of the action itself. And nobody can take advantage of that. They just can't. Because you're the one who benefits. You're the one who's loving and doing it, right? Because, for example, I don't know, Tiwi, I'm not saying this is about you, but this is another example. I've had guys who are like, I've been so nice to you. I've helped you with shit. I've bought you things. I gave you a pencil case. I listened to your problems. And it's like, well, I never asked for these things you gave me. You volunteered them. I didn't know this was some non-verbal contract where I was supposed to fuck you at some point. So, yes, I accepted it because pushing gifts back in your face out of the blue, out of nowhere, seems rude and mean when you're just trying to be nice to me. But secondly, listening to people's problems and being nice to them in that way is what you do when you're a friend. And that's what I thought you were being. And at no point did I think that you were, like, doing all this stuff for me so that I would do something specific for you that you had in mind and hadn't asked me yet. I.e. sex. Or being girlfriend, you know. So, like, I often end up in situations where people are nice to me and they're like, you're supposed to do the thing I imagined you to do, you know, where's the blowjob? I've come across a lot of people who have expectations from kindness. But, you know, actual kindness is when you do something for someone else, you volunteer it, it's something within your own comfort zone that you want to do for the pleasure of having done it for someone, you know, because you empathize with them. Huh. You know, not because you expect anything. You can't feel taken advantage of if you're being kind for the right reasons. Yeah, the nice guy stamp card thing is so weird. They're like, I've got 6 stamps on my card. The sex is supposed to fall out now. You seem cool. Can we have children now? You should just swap sides and only date women. It may surprise you to know that people, regardless of what genitalia they have, can still be assholes, and you don't escape being cheated on, lied to, or taken advantage of in some way, shape, or form in relationships or being abused by selecting a specific genitalia. Because that is not the dictator of whether someone's a good person or not. You can be a woman and a shitty person too. So no, I do not feel like going gay would be the answer. I feel that so many people are so false. As a result, I've spent a lot of time living in solitude. What I do when I have a feeling that someone's got a protective barrier, like a persona in front of them, is I just get to know them longer, because nobody can really hold that up for too long, and you usually end up seeing the real person underneath. So, you know, seeing the true people comes from time. And I find that a lot of people unconsciously put their best foot forward when you first meet them. And that you could call that false, or you could call that insecurity. I just see it as a sense of vulnerability. And I don't know, as I get to know people, I feel like I'm just going, it's okay, I'll accept you. You can be a shitty person in some ways. We all have to grow somehow. We all have things we want to fix. I can see the things that you want to fix about you and still be a friend. And I love that journey. I love being trusted with people's flaws down the line, you know? Speaking of genitalia, I've heard you boasting about having a big dick. How big we talking? Well, Terrence keeps saying like 72 inches. Why are you losers talking about sex in chat? Get a life. Okay, so I'm really open about sex. I talk about sex quite often. Not because I want to titillate anyone or arouse them. I just have very frank sexual discussions. I grew up in an atmosphere and a climate where sex was not something to be ashamed of or a taboo, so I learned a lot about it, and people around me had really frank discussions. I've never really learned to be ashamed, and I think those sorts of discussions are really beneficial because people learn things that they never got an opportunity to learn, and it can better their life, their means of connection, and communicating with their partners, the way they love, the way they understand themselves. Like, sex is a huge part of human life. It's a huge motivator for a lot of people. It's something that matters to a lot of people. Not everyone, but a lot. So I think at the very least we should be able to talk to each other and share the lessons that we've learned about it. Do you tick during sex? Sometimes. If you want to know more, hop on the YouTube. There are a couple of videos about it. What have you learned so far about Twitch? Oh, lots of things. Lots and lots of things. And that I've totally ignored. Yeah, a lot of the things that get you further in Twitch are not things that I'll ever really want to take up and do. Do you fuck men? Because I do. I don't know why so many people are hung up on sex, to be honest. For me, it's not someone I'm connected with emotional, it doesn't matter. T to the I am. Thank you so much for the gift subs. That's amazing. Guys, be sure to thank T to the I am if you just got gifted a sub. What was I saying about sex? Oh right, yeah. For some people it does matter. For some people it doesn't really matter where you fall on that spectrum. A lot of us have learned some things that we can share, and you know that's something that can help. You know, I think having frank discussions really can be life changing. Do you have any tips for my girlfriend that is terrified for sex and doesn't believe in contraception? I would question why not believing in contraception, because nothing about a pre-fertilized egg or sperm is conscious or able to experience pain or anything like that. And in nature, by our very design, we kill them over and over again. Every period is a murdered egg. Every time a dude has a wet dream or whatever, he's murdering millions by that perspective. So there's nothing wrong with contraception. If instead of those things being I don't know, discarded by nature, they can be discarded in a moment of passion and love and connection. And you get a load of feel-good hormones and an opportunity to make someone happy and feel good, instead of it just being a natural biological function that would happen anyway. I really don't understand what the foundation for an opposition to contraception comes from. People joking about fapping. But yeah, I would say that doing a bit more research and understanding and exploring the reasons why you might not like birth control, and maybe that's a good place to start, because of course sex will be terrifying if you can potentially get pregnant. Of course that's kind of scary. I can understand why that would terrify someone. So maybe just having a little bit more of an exploration and an open-mindedness regarding contraception. Do you think you could ever work in a suicide hotline? As much as I would love to be on the other end of the phone, I'd love to work for like 999 or something and be one of the people that's like a first responder or whatever, but I can't because of my condition. You know, when you don't have very much time and you've got a split second to decide, rambling about cocks and stuff like that and stuttering isn't going to help at all, help the situation at all. I feel like I could stay calm, but I do think I'd fuck it up in other ways. And when people pick up the phone and they don't know who I am, there are already too many misunderstandings as it is. So I definitely don't think that I'd put myself in that position. Huh. Can you talk in the GPS voice? Yeah, I can talk in it. It's not just a tick. It's a tick and something I do voluntarily.
Huh.
You used to have a lot more outbursts than this. Did you learn to get a handle on it? No, I just woke up. I literally just woke up. I have had no coffee, I've had no food, I've had no water. What you're seeing is someone who flux, who also have outbursts. Just different environment, different energy levels and stuff will impact it. Like, I find like there are people who watch for like 40 seconds.
Hello,
like,
Anita.
You haven't had a tick.
On the
Is it
subject
gone
of
now?
kindness, for the sake of doing so, here's a random compliment to say you and everyone here is awesome, Anita Hart.
Thank you, Spaceman. I appreciate that. Get some coffee for Terrence.
Huh.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a short stream this morning. We're gonna go to 10, if that's okay with you. Because I do have other things to get on with. Gotta catch up on life. Everything was put on hold whilst the boys came down.
Ever want a nut? What?
Are you actually good at whistling? Well, I don't know. I guess chat would have to tell you. They've seen me whistle. Ugh.
Do you fuck men? You seem like the type.
Have you ever fallen asleep on stream by accident? A little bit. I was during a mental health Monday, and I was like so tired. I was keeping one eye open at a time. My rabbit had died the night before. I'd stayed up all night with him trying to keep him alive, but it just didn't work out. And then I had to do a stream, and I was just like just trying to stay awake.
Huh.
Have you ever met anyone else with Tourette's? Yes, I've met lots of friends with Tourette's on the Discord. It's been super chill. Yeah, it's been a super chill. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am Professor. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think tonight's stream will be a little bit more lively. There'll be a lot more games, and I think I'm gonna hang off the alcohol for a while. So there's someone who keeps spamming, did you ever fake a Twitch to secretly talk shit? No, and I've answered that question a million times. I really do need to get a link to respond to that one. I swear you just walked past me about 45 minutes ago. Well, that'd be impressive, given that I was asleep. Do you fuck men? You got a ring on your wedding finger, is it an important ring? Not really, it's just a random ring. No one gave it to me. It's not an actual wedding ring. It's just the finger that this ring fits on the best.
Huh.
Hill Jaldi, thank you so much for the 500 bits. Yeah, I'll never marry. What do you do with your feelings when you have a crush on your friend but they do not like you back? Time helps, time heals. So, I was into someone and I couldn't be with them. They had a partner already. I never made my feelings known. I was fine with that, and I actually really liked them enough that being friends with them was enough, you know? I'm not bratty about the things that I don't get. I'm grateful for the things that I do, and getting to know someone that is that awesome, that, you know, I could love that much, is a privilege, regardless of what they do for me or how they acknowledge me. So, yeah, maintaining that attitude, it was really easy to still be their friend, and, you know, over time, you slowly get over it. Over time, you slowly readjust, and your feelings do too. Or at least that's what happened to me. Do you think people get married to solve problems that would not happen if they didn't get married to begin with? I have no idea. As someone who hasn't been married, I think it'd be pretty shitty of me to make judgments of people who have. Not knowing the full situation, not knowing those relationships intimately, I wouldn't like to speculate.
Aw. What? What?
What's the best accidental thing you've ever done? I tick punched someone in the arm, and that's how we made best friends when I was at school. I went to school very briefly. I was mostly home educated, but one day walking to school, I just punched this girl in the back of the arm, and she looked around and she saw a yellow cat, and she said some random rhyme, and she punched me back, and she laughed and asked my name and stuff, and I was really scared when I initially punched her because I thought, oh shit, I'm in trouble now. But she took it really well, and yeah, we were great. We were really close friends. Best accidental friendship ever.
Huh?
Who homeschooled me? TV, Mario, Crash Bandicoot, Final Fantasy 7 and 9. And me, I guess. I did a lot of reading.
Huh. Do you like cats? Do you fuck cats? Huh?
Is the FAQ almost finished? In what sense? On the stream? Because that's probably all we're going to be doing today. I don't know if I want to play any games at the moment. I'm not. I am so tired. I've just woke up.
Huh.
Do you like the Dark Crystal? I fucking love it. What do you normally play on stream? Bit of Overwatch, bit of Control, bit of Untitled Goose Game, that sort of thing. I'm not advocating for people to punch each other to make friends. That I really wouldn't use that as a way to make friends, dude. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that people are getting to see me when I'm having like a more mellow day. It's weird though, because people are constantly staring at me and they'll like wait 2 minutes and go, "Oh, has your Tourette's gone away?" It's like, no, that's not how it works. There are some strange people out there who think that, you know, you had to be ticking on time like every 10 seconds or so, or you don't really have Tourette's. There are people who've messaged me going, "I've caught you, you know, when you've slipped up and you haven't ticked in like 40 seconds and all this sort of stuff." I think it's part of educating people to see, you know, to break down that stereotype and let people see that there is another side to it. And you do have good days where you have fewer ticks. Yes, I do tick in my sleep sometimes. When are you getting an exorcism? Fine, if I'll do it. If I win this award. There we go. I've been nominated for the Golden Joysticks. I'll get an exorcism to celebrate if I win. That'll be fun. What award? Golden Joystick Award. There's a link to it on my Twitter if you want to go look. And if you want to vote, I'll film it. Just for fun. It'll just be my celebratory video. I doubt I'll win, but you know, if I do, then to celebrate, I'm gonna ring up a dude and we can go get an exorcism. Just for funsies. I don't necessarily think I'll win. There are a lot of really lovely streamers on there who definitely deserve it. Thanks for the votes, guys. I think it's cool just to be nominated, to be honest, though, because it shows people that even if you're strange or different, you can still find a place. And yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to show, regardless. So, just in being nominated, I feel like I've already won, because I can say, you know, Tourette's doesn't have to hold you back.
Huh?
What message would you like to say to all the people struggling with it? I don't know. It's very easy to get drowned in shame and embarrassment when you have a condition like this. It's very easy to get very insecure about it. But the more you accept yourself, the more other people learn to accept you too. Self-acceptance is kind of infectious. And the more relaxed you are, no matter what you're saying, people will be relaxed with you too. I was terrified of people. I stayed away from them. I felt awkward around people. I was really scared of having tics in front of people. I never liked to explain myself. I felt paralyzed by embarrassment, and I'd often not end up explaining why something bad had just happened. And as I started to relax and just be like, nah, whatever happens, happens. I'll just deal with it if it does. And then dealing with it by just going, yeah, that happens. Sorry, I have Tourette's. And being really relaxed by it, my life has totally been transformed. And so many people, I've got so many more people in my life now, so many amazing people in my life now, just for having relaxed about it and gotten out there anyway. Because the fact of the matter is, everyone gets handed a challenge. We all have things that make stuff hard. We all have some of us have disabilities, some of us have someone that we have to care for, some of us have mental health issues, some of us have just a really hard life. Some people were born in poverty, some people, everyone has something. Sometimes people's family dies young. There's all sorts of stuff like that. Everyone has a hurdle. Everyone has something that really makes them struggle. This is just one flavor of the struggle. And every little bit of it teaches you something. Every little bit of it teaches you to appreciate the good stuff. Like, it's a privilege to be alive regardless of the struggle, and I'm really glad I get to be here. I'm really, really glad that I came to terms with my condition. And I've got to say, all life starts after you come to terms with yourself. Every best journey begins with self-acceptance. I don't know. That was a bit rambly, but I'm very tired.